Write down your vision, make it plain, and then start your strategic plan to get to where you want to be, and just do it.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Spared Change podcast. Super excited to have Brenda Harris in the room. Brenda Harris is in the top most influential women in Charlotte. She was just recognized last year as the 50 most influential women. And so I am super excited to have her in the room. First and foremost, I've met Brenda, oh goodness, it's probably been about 3 or 4 years ago. But when I think of a woman business owner that is just soaring in her space, I think about Brenda. Brenda, I want you to introduce yourself. I always start off the Spared Change podcast with asking our guests, what is the one word that describes you and why?
So again, I'm Brenda Harris, and my word is determined.
Okay. And why?
And I say that because being a minority and being a woman, it's a lot of obstacles we face, and it's the determination that gets me through it, because failure is just not an option.
Yeah. And Brenda has been in business for 11 years, correct?
Yes, going into the 12th.
Going into the 12th year. And she is doing some phenomenal things in the Charlotte area and nationwide. So, Brenda, if you want to just break down just a little bit about what you do and how that is impacting the healthcare space.
So my company is Business Professionals Networking. We do business as BPN Staffing Solutions, and we staff clinicians across the United States in different healthcare facilities. Of course, we all know during COVID, we had the largest need there was trying to get nurses and respiratory therapists placed, and we did a phenomenal job with that. We still moving forward, just got a few more hospitals in the last couple of weeks, so just growing.
Right. Wow. Yeah. And so when you think about the growth that you've had over the past few years and just even kind of currently where you are, I always want to ask, what is that spared change moment for you? And when I think about spared change, it's one of those moments in your life where you didn't quite know how it was going to pan out for you, but on the other end, you're looking at it and it was a pivotal point in your life, in your career.
I would say my spare change moment occurred in January. We had a great year last year, and in January, my accountant said, you're gonna have to do something drastic this year. She said, because otherwise it's gonna be bad for you at tax season. And by drastic, she said, you're gonna buy a property. So I never even thought I would have to do that. I never thought I would be able to do it. I don't even think that was one of my wish list things, but the voyage started, and we looked at several properties. We bidded on a few, didn't get them. It was a bidding war. And then the one we currently did get, it was probably God sent. It was in the area I wanted. It was everything about it is pretty much what I had been praying for, but it came after we bid it and got our bid accepted on a different property in an upscale part of downtown. It was a beautiful place, but it wasn't for me. During the process, I learned a lot about patience, perseverance. That determination still came in, but I felt like it was tearing me down. It was pulling me apart. Not only was it just the banks, it was the underwriters, everybody. It was like, where did all this stuff come from? I thought I had everything together, like I had a folder with everything you could think of for the business and me. And I thought my I's were dotted and my T's were crossed, but they still seemed to find something wrong. So it was just discouraging at that time. But like I said, with prayer, I was led to this space, and we ended up doing a cash offer, and we paid cash for it. And it's better than I could ever imagine.
Wow, that is phenomenal. So here you are, you're scaling and growing out your business, thinking that everything was just going to be like this smooth sailing from here forward. And now you're in this space where your tax person, your tax accountant told you to purchase a commercial property. So your first commercial property, 11 years, and it came with its own set of problems. And I think that, when I think about growth and just expansion in and of itself, there's always this part that's so hard, that's difficult, that we have to grow through. And I love your word, determined. And when you think about just you in this new space and on the other end of it, what has this season allowed you to cultivate?
It allowed me to stay true to myself. I feel like I had a mini breakdown back in March, where I had to just separate myself from the business and everything. It allowed me to realize, I am who I am. I'm not perfect. I have my faults, but I always do my best.
Mhm.
So that's my thing, just staying true to myself at this point.
Yeah. It's interesting, and I want to kind of back up because you talked a bit about, or you said you touched on, I'm not perfect. And I think that so often in life, all we see are just the snapshots into other people's world. And, outside looking in, someone might think, oh my goodness, she has everything together, right? So they're trying to emulate, your success and different things like that. And so I love the fact that you said that you're not perfect, but for that business owner, that woman business owner that's in this space where she's trying to figure out how to grow, or she's trying to move beyond that space of, imperfection, what would you say to her?
Write down your vision, make it plain, and then start your strategic plan to get to where you want to be,
Mhm.
and just do it.
Yeah.
There's no perfect time to do it. There's no perfect set of rules. You have to do it, and you have to get through the obstacles and overcome that, and you have to just do it.
Oh my goodness. So before we continue, I want to share a special offer with you. If you need help taking action on achieving your goals, can I invite you to enroll in our Gain Goal Clarity course? It is a self-paced online course. You will find it on conquerandcultivate.com. Enter the promo code SPARED to receive 50% off the normal enrollment fee. Now back to our episode. What fuels you and keeps you going to just, want to do it, want to be better?
Purchasing and building it still seems surreal.
Mhm.
So building this legacy has really changed me some. Now I realize that, if something was to happen to me, my children still would have something from me that they can go and they can continue the business, or they can rent it out or whatever, but it's not attached to anything, it's ours. So legacy is very important to me at this moment.
Mhm. Oh, yeah. And you think about, you had touched on the fact that you're a minority woman-owned business, right? And then just to even go a little bit further, talking about your family and the legacy that you're leaving behind. And when I think about just Black businesses as a whole, sometimes we neglect the part of the commercial purchases, right? So the fact that we can own our own land, we can own our own property and continue to scale and grow out our businesses. And I wanted to touch on that because we, as so often, we play small, right?
Mhm.
And we don't think about the bigger implications of our actions. So, is there while you were going through this entire process, and now here you are on the other side purchasing this commercial property, did you look back over that season and you think, were there any thoughts around how this is going to, or could you touch a little bit on how this is going to change that legacy a bit more as well?
Yeah, of course. So, like I said, the business is going fairly good. We're doing great, got new contracts, got a lot of clinicians, started a new portal for jobs. So everything has been going great with the business.
Mhm.
In regards to the property, that was a plus. That was a plus. So now I have my daughters here working with me. I have a great set of staff here. So at this point, I'm teaching them the business. I'm teaching them about the building. They've been with me through the process. and just trying to make sure they understand the ins and outs of business and ownership.
Mhm. So here we are with a second generation of business, small business ownership. So what I heard is essentially succession planning. So
Yeah.
taking what you've already created, the foundation of what you've created, and making sure that that second generation is success, set up for success, you know, as you
Correct.
begin to transition out. Do you, if you don't mind, Brenda, when you think about your daughters, because I believe you said you had 3 daughters, and when you think about your daughters and even your grandchildren, do you ever talk to them, or do they even have a small business spirit to where even if they don't want to take on BPN, have they talked about other entrepreneurial journeys that they might want to take on, and how have you influenced that?
Yeah. So my oldest, she wanted to start a mobile bartending service. She had her first event a couple weeks ago, and she asked me to look over her plan, give her some advice. And I told her to, and she wanted help with investment. So I told her to give me a proposal and let me look at it, and I'll see if I can invest. So she created a nice little proposal. So I was able to help with the first event. My middle daughter, she's in California, San Jose, I think. And she's an architect. So she's doing everything. She actually flew here for a week to help design with the construction and decorating in here. So I can appreciate that. But yeah, she's got a photography business. She's very business minded anyway, and she's about making that money. And then my youngest daughter, she's starting an online store. So she's got some program she's in that she's wanting to start an online retail store.
That's super exciting, you know, and I think about just from generation to generation, you're passing on not only, you know, what you've started with BPN, but now we have this second generation of entrepreneurs. And I love the fact that you're not just giving them, you know,
Oh,
giving
no.
process, right? You're actually making them formulate it because you're setting them up for success.
Correct. Yes. I want to make sure they earn it and they know, what they're going to have to deal with when they walk in that boardroom.
Yeah, wow, wow. You know, I was reading an article, and I think you and I talked quite a bit, quite extensively around the fact that when we look at Black business ownership, I think the national average for Black businesses is right around $24,000. Looking at it as a whole across the nation, and you know, again, for that business owner that might be looking to become that $1 million+ business, you know, what helped you along that journey?
Well, yeah, I was shocked when she came out, when my accountant came and told me, you know what, you're officially in that club. And I'm like, what? But what helped me was just having good talent. Like, I mean, I can't take all the credit. I still have really good talent in the hospitals. Most of my clinicians been with me for 2 or more years. It's very seldom if someone does take a contract somewhere else, they typically come back. And then I have the office staff that have the, relationships with the clinicians. So I think that's what keeps us going and keeps things going. My whole goal was to be personable with our clinicians and not to be doing a whole bunch of haggling and negotiating. Because as a traveler, when I was traveling, I hated that. And I didn't want that to be a part of my company. So I think that's been the biggest part, just being who we are, being a unique firm that is able to make things work for just about anybody we can work with.
Wow, love it. For anyone that's listening, what was the biggest lessons that you've learned over that time, over your Spirit Change moment time, and even the growth of your company?
To keep going, to keep going. Like I've been put off. I've been not ignored. That's not the correct word, but pretty much just set on the side, I guess.
Mhm.
And I would go to these events, and the person who hadn't called me back in months is sitting up there talking about, I'm gonna call you. So I raised my hand.
Mhm.
Can I get that phone call back? So, I mean, I put somebody on the spot in a minute, especially when I've done my part. But yeah, just keep going. I never let that stuff stop me.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much, Brenda, for being on the Spared Change podcast. Truly appreciate you. Congratulations again on the purchase of your commercial property. I can't wait to see what's coming next for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you tuning in to this episode of the Spared Change podcast. Be sure to stay connected. And hey, if you have not subscribed to our channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. You can follow me on social media or visit my website at angelargarman.com.